Hi, I'm Steve, the introverted traveler. I've made it my mission in life to explore the beaches, deserts, mountains, and even cityscapes around us, and to do so while avoiding contact with as many people as possible. And although I will never hang out with you for any reason, I do invite you to join me on my journey. Come and see the world through the eyes of an extreme introvert. On this edition, we are on the Lewis and Clark Discovery Trail, on our way to Indian Beach in Ecola State Park, near Seaside, Oregon. Along the way, we will see beautiful misty forests, experience foggy views, run away from creepy murder cabins, and take in the rocky Oregon coastline. All this and much more on this Introverted Travels. This is just a reminder to always watch where you step when you're on the trail, because check this out. I made the mistake of walking on the edge of the trail, and yeah, that happened. And although I am rotund, I'm not that huge. So yeah, that can occur. And if I had actually fallen off the trail, if I had stepped on that and the trail crumbled, and I would be part of the tree down there, I'd be bloody. There'd be limbs sticking out of my body. There'd be limbs in my chest. There'd be blood. There'd be gore. There'd be viscera and guts and just all sorts of horrible things. And that's me. I'm hardy. Most of you are not Adonis-like in nature like I am. Most of you wouldn't even, you step on that and your twig-like legs would snap. And yeah, you'd all die. So instead of dying out here, just watch where you're going, watch where you're stepping, and pray that the Grim Reaper is busy elsewhere, because out here in the forest, death is everywhere. Greetings, and I'm back yet again on yet another adventure. And today I am out once again on the Oregon coast. And you may be asking yourself, but introverted traveler, why are you once again on the Oregon coast when there's so many hiking trails right near your house? Well, put simply, we are at the end of April and almost to the very beginning of May. And that means here in the Pacific Northwest, it is wildflower season. Now, I live right next to the Columbia River Gorge, which is ground zero for the little floral explosion that happens around this time of year. And you know what comes from the floral explosion? The gates of Portland open up, and all the hipsters and the hippies and the weird people with beards and beanies and flannels and all those weird creepy things that usually just hide in the shadows of the city, they flow out into the wild and on to the hiking trails. For about 2 or 3 months in the spring, there are people everywhere. They're popping out of the bushes. They're crawling up the mountainsides. They're crawling up the canyons. They're coming out of the ferns. The ferns aren't even spared from this people invasion from the hellmouths of Portland. And unfortunately, this flower infection spreads all the way up into Washington and possibly into Canada. Although I'm not sure Canadians have flowers. I know they have maple leaves and weird round ham, but I don't know about flowers. Needless to say, those of us who are out in the Columbia River Gorge and the rest of the wilderness during the winter months, putting in the work, making the rants, making the YouTube videos, whining, bitching, and complaining, well, unfortunately, we're not able to go into the gorge or most of the regions of the Pacific Northwest this time of year because of people. So instead, I decided to come to the one region of the state that has wildflowers, but they're not in like one giant gravitationally centered mass. So instead, today I am once again on the Oregon coast, and more specifically, I'm at Ecola State Park here in northern Oregon near the town of Seaside, and I'm doing something called the Lewis and Clark Trail. Actually, the Lewis and Clark Trail is actually a longer version of a shorter hike. Then I'm actually doing the shorter hike, but because the shorter hike on all trails has a much longer name, and I have the memory of an elderly man because I'm middle-aged and close to death, I didn't want to say the hike that I'm actually on because I can't remember it. So I'm just going to say I'm on the Lewis and Clark Discovery Trail. That's it, the Lewis and Clark Discovery Trail. But I'm not going to do the full 14-mile hike because I just frankly don't want to. I'm tired. And did you not get the part where I'm old and I'm near death? So instead, I'm doing something around 6 miles according to All Trails, but I'm planning on adding in a mile or two. So I'm doing part of the Lewis and Clark Discovery Trail. There, out of my aging mind came hopefully a couple of sentences that made sense, and if not, just start drinking, and eventually it all comes around anyway. But according to that marvel of ineptitude that is All Trails, the hike that I'm on, as I said, is around 5 miles. I'm going to add on to it, and the Lewis and Clark Trail, Discovery Trail, is around 14 miles round trip. But we know that that could be a correct estimate, but it rarely ever is, and so more than likely this trip for me is probably going to be around 70 miles, and the entire Lewis and Clark Trail is probably going to be around 1,000 miles. And that's because that wonderful app, All Trails, well, it can't estimate anything because it's coded like crap, because All Trails sucks. You don't tune into my videos to find out that All Trail sucks. It is already general knowledge that All Trail sucks because scientists proved that All Trail sucks when All Trails was first on the market, because that's how badly All Trail sucks. No, you tune in to hear me bitch, moan, and complain about the number of people who are on this trail. And oh boy, is it wonderful today. I got to the trailhead and there was only one car, and there was a hiker at the car, so I saw there was only one hiker. And I thought to myself, wonders of wonders, there may be only one person on this trail. But then another car pulled out with another single hiker, and I'm like, okay, well, yes, that doubles the horror, but at least it's only 2 hikers. So I got my gear together and I started on the trailhead, and as I'm walking up the trailhead from the parking lot, I hear another car pull up. By the time I was about half a mile into the hike, I'd already seen 4 hikers, maybe even 5, because again, I have the memory of an elderly man. But since then, I have seen couples, I have seen friends, I have heard conversations, and I've already gotten multiple good mornings. Oh. So, needless to say, I'm in hell, but at least there's not wildflowers everywhere. But for the sake of brevity, I think I've covered it all. You know where I am, you know why I'm out here, you know there's way too many damn people here and in the world, and you know that All Trail sucks. I mean, I could keep going on and on and on, but I think that pretty much captures the misery of the moment. I'm gonna go ahead and get going. You're gonna follow me. You're gonna watch this example of psychiatric decay and maybe laugh, maybe cry, maybe throw things at the screen. I mean, it's a crapshoot, but usually all 3 things happen during my videos, so let's make the magic happen, and let's go. So that is supposed to be a wooden walkway, and I think nature has reclaimed it for the forest. And seriously, today I thought I was just doing a pretty simple hike along the coastline. I thought I'd see some ocean, I thought I'd see some forest, a little bit of forest, a little bit of trees, and I thought it'd be, you know, it's rated as a moderate hike, so I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. And there was some information on All Trails that indicated otherwise, but it's All Trails. I never pay attention to anything it says about anything, because usually everything it says is wrong. And it's always wrong in the direction of, that trail is dangerous. There's tentacles from other dimensions coming out. They're going to steal your soul and take you across the galaxy, or some weird paranoid shit like that. And I especially don't listen to the comments on All Trails, because those are even worse. I mean, heaven forbid a hiker finds like an old cougar or bear print, because the comment sections are going to be filled with, there's cougars and bears, and they're waiting in the bushes, and they've got baseball bats and knives, and the minute they see you on their territory, you're dead. So when I read on All Trails that this particular state park is prone to geological movements and geological issues all year round, and when I saw a comment from one of the users saying that he slipped on the mud and fell 800 feet from the trail. I still don't believe that one. I think he probably tripped in a hole and fell 8 inches, but I completely ignored him. But now that I'm out here, I mean, as you saw in the very opening of the video, I literally stepped on just the wrong part of the trail and half of it crumbled away. There's deterioration, there's logs down. I mean, I've seen some ragged trails, but I'm pretty sure this thing is trying to eat me. I mean, yeah, there's people on it, and that makes it even worse, but the forest is scary. A minute ago, fog started rolling in, and I'm just waiting for the sounds of the Kraken in the distance, because the ocean is, well, it's somewhere right over there. I am literally on the coast, but as I said earlier, when you hike on the coast of Oregon, you never see the coast of Oregon. So, yeah, I'm taking a nice trip once again through a murder forest. But today, this one seems just a little bit extra murdery because even the walkways are being reclaimed by nature. The trees are falling. I'm pretty sure vines are going to come out of the bushes and start attacking me at any minute. I mean, it's Sunday, so this is the typical adventure for Sunday, but boy, what an adventure. And it just goes to show that you should always read the descriptions of the trails, but you should never trust all trails. So if the description on all trails tells you that it's a dangerous, deadly, well, I mean, it's a crapshoot. It could be completely false, which it is 9 times out of 10, or it could be that one time in which it warns you properly, and you go on the trail, and literally nature eats you. So really, what I'm trying to say here is, using all trails is like playing Russian roulette. You'll get an empty chamber probably every 5 spin, but on that 6th spin, brain matter everywhere. And that's a good metaphor for what it's like hiking with all trails. Well, I just figured out that I made a mistake. And no, not the mistake of being born. That's a mistake that unfortunately we all make. And once that mistake's been made, well, we're stuck. But no, I had read the All Trails map incorrectly. Well, the trailhead information. The actual hike that I'm on, it's a little confusing because there's 2 hikes that use the exact same trail, but they have 2 different names because there's like a little bit of a further stopping point for one hike. And I don't understand all trails, and I frankly don't want to get involved in its chaotic tendrils, but the hike that I am on is called the Ecola State Park and Trailhead to Indian Beach. You see how long that name is, why I didn't want to say it earlier, because this shares the same trail as the hike on the Lewis and Clark Discovery Trail hike, whatever it's called. And that's much more easy to remember for my ailing, soon-to-be elderly brain, and frankly just easier to say. But what I didn't notice, the Lewis and Clark, which is about 14 miles, is an out and back, which means 7 miles out, 7 miles back. The one I'm on is a point to point, meaning I go out and I never come back, and I go out 5 miles. So if I come back, of course, All Trails hopes that I never come back, but if I come back, it's another 5 miles. So in other words, I'm doing a 10-mile hike today, which I don't really mind. I still don't think I'm going to do the full Lewis and Clark hike. But again, if all this is confusing, that's okay, because All Trails, remember, sucks, and it confuses the hell out of everybody. But there's worse news on the trail than me having poor reading comprehension. I just saw trail runners. So, in addition to the fact that I think I am in one of the forests that was in the movie The Evil Dead, that pales in comparison to the horror. That was 3 trail runners. Short shorts, little trail running backpack, all in lockstep with one another, all in unison down the trail going, I'm running, look at me, I'm running. And of course, as we've already derived in other videos, that's a desperate plea for help. They're out here with very little gear, in inappropriate clothing. Trail runners, they never come prepared because they need that hug for their surrogate mommy and daddy, aka search and rescue. So there's all sorts of weird, chaotic things going on out here. I'm reading maps wrong, trees are going to try to kill me, and there's trail runners with parent issues. So check this out. I found some interesting animal prints. That looks like cloven hooves to me of some kind. And of course there's some kind of earthworm sitting in one of them. But there's either demon goats or deer. I'm probably going to go with deer, although that's a pretty big cloven hoof. So it's probably a pretty big deer. And then of course over here there's all sorts of horrible, terrible, dangerous predator tracks. The boot sizes are a little smaller than mine, so the predators are probably a little smaller than me, but yeah, human tracks everywhere. There's life out here in this possibly evil and ghost-filled forest, and unfortunately, most of it is human. But no, it's always cool to see deer prints. I haven't seen any scat. I haven't seen any pieces of deer like I have on other hikes. I haven't seen any cougar paw prints or anything like that. So unfortunately, it's just deer and human out here. And of course, I much prefer the deer, but I haven't seen a single deer today. But you know what I have seen? Lots of human. This is supposed to be a difficult, dangerous hike through a state park that is literally falling off the cliff all year round. And yet, apparently, that just attracts more and more people. And it attracts more and more conversations, and more hellos, and more good mornings. And oh, I swear, I think I'm just burned out. I think I'm burned out on this failed experiment called the human species. I mean, humans just think they're absolutely brilliant. They think they're great. They think they're sent by God. And I'm sitting here going, when's extinction happening again? When is the human race going to fall out? Because they're absolutely ridiculous. They're self-obsessed. They're narcissistic. And frankly, they're boring. Nothing humans are doing is of any interest to me whatsoever. But that earthworm chilling back there in that hoof print, now that is happening. I'll take 1,000 earthworms chilling in hoof prints over just one or two humans, because the human race, basically, I think the human race is just a disappointment. It had a lot of potential. It could have been a species in which it embraced empathy and knowledge and science, and we could be all living in floating houses and driving flying cars and visiting, Alpha Centauri right now. But no, instead, we have an orange Nazi as the president. Nobody can agree on anything. Established scientific fact is called a hoax, and there's people out here on my hiking trail. Some of those things are worse than others, and that last thing, that's the most terrible thing ever. But yeah, I think I'm gonna hang out with that earthworm that's chilling in the hoof print, because I'd rather have that. It makes a lot more sense to me, and frankly, that earthworm who's chilling in that hoof print over there doesn't disappoint the universe. That earthworm has never made the universe cry. Humans. Oh, guess what I just found? First of all, there's a sign for Indian Beach, but beyond that is a wild, majestic, and apparently out of order trail bathroom. And I'll tell you exactly why it's out of order, because I actually saw it from back there as I was coming through the murder forest back there, and there were people all around it. So it's probably an incredibly popular trail bathroom because I've been on this trail for almost 5 miles. It's the only one I've seen, and there's been a lot of people here. So I'm so sure somebody sat on the chemical toilet and blew it up, or some kid fell down into the toilet and got stuck, or who knows what people do in bathrooms around here. But yeah, there is the glory and wonderment that is the dilapidated and probably really, really gross trail bathroom. And it happens to mark the beginning of a side trail that actually is on the All Trails map, and that I'm going to take down in that direction. That direction is the ocean. And according to the map on All Trails, there's something very special down there. Not as special as the out-of-order trail bathroom, but there is a lighthouse. So I'm going to head down the trail. I'm going to have not happy memories, because unfortunately I'm not able to use the glorious trail bathroom. Let's see what this says. Restroom closed. Sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, they better be sorry. I mean, I'm only going to be able to make half a rant about this trail bathroom because I can't go inside and see how disgusting it is. I mean, how is a bald, antisocial weirdo who's making weird antisocial rants in the middle of the woods supposed to get content out of half a trail bathroom? So yeah, they better be sorry for my inconvenience, because I feel inconvenienced, whatever the word is. But in other news, down that way is the possibility of a lighthouse, if All Trails is to be believed. Oh, that's cool. Isn't that awesome? The trail bathroom behind me, that's like a symbol for my entire life. It's an out of order and probably pretty disgusting, dilapidated trail bathroom. So literally, like, right down the trail, I mean, the bathroom's right there, but right down the trail from the bathroom is the Ecola State Park Hikers Camp. Cabins are available on a first come, first serve. Quiet hours for 10 to 7. Maximum length of stay is 3 nights. If you're using a tent, please blah, blah, blah. All the rules. Okay. However, this is the middle of the forest. I'm sure there's a road access around here somewhere, but the way that I've hiked it, I feel like I'm just in the middle of the forest. And then we have what appears to be something taken out of a Friday the 13th movie. Just here in the middle of the woods, bunch of dilapidated moss and leaf covered murder cabins. I mean, nothing to me says hockey mask wearing, machete yielding maniac more than whatever the hell these things are. Would you want to stay in those things? Be afraid that it would open up a portal to Hades. I guess it's all context, because today it's gloomy, it's foggy, it's misty. I'm getting water on the top of my head. There's a broken bathroom over there, and well, I'm pretty sure a bunch of co-eds and their boyfriends were slaughtered, gutted, and skinned in one of these 3 cabins, possibly in all 3. The slaughtering happened there, the gutting happened there, and then the skinning. That's the skinning cabin right there. So yeah, this is what's happening out here in the woods. I'm making up bizarre, macabre, weird horror stories because, well, the trail bathroom is broken and I didn't have anything else to say. And I'm in the middle of the woods, and what the hell else am I gonna do? Am I gonna just hike? It's no fun. I'm gonna make up stuff as I'm hiking. And today, we're talking about the slaughter cabins. Well, this seems to be a reoccurring theme today. I once again, I read the map wrong. It's not that there's a lighthouse down here, it's that there's a viewpoint to a lighthouse, which is, I guess, out in the ocean somewhere, on a rock somewhere. I have no idea, but there's no actual lighthouse here. However, given who I am and how I plan and when I hike and all that stuff we've already talked about in the past, guess what my viewpoint looks like today? Oh, yes. Once again, we have the return of the glory white sheet of nothingness. I swear, this particular hike is about 2 hours away from my house. It took me a while to drive down here because, of course, I had to stop at the rest stop and take 5 minutes to pee because I'm old. But I come all the way down here to see glorious sights and apparently to hike the scary-ass murder forest and see the slaughter cabins. But I come down here to see beautiful sights, and what do I see? As per usual, because this always happens to me, I see whiteness. Well, actually now the wind shifted and now I'm seeing some waves and some water, but it's just white waves, gray water, and
fog. Lots and lots of fog.
And the hilarious thing is, other people have been coming down here. I actually had to wait to start this video because people were coming down here and going, "Oh, can you see something? Can you see something?" And they're getting the same crappy view that I'm getting.
But yeah, I guess I can see the ocean now. But I have no idea where the lighthouse is supposedly supposed to be. It could be over there. It could be over there.
I see no lighthouse. I was promised a lighthouse, and all I have is
crappy weather.
Typical. Welcome to my world. Well, guess what? The sun came out for like 5 minutes and this happened.
Suddenly the fog cleared up and we have a little bit of beautiful ocean scenery. And out there is something on a rock.
And I think that may be the lighthouse. Actually, I have no idea because, as I always say, I do no research. I don't know where I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know any of the history of the site. I don't know any of the things that you will see on the site. I just blindly come out here and go, hey, I'm here, and then turn on the camera and then tell everybody how I do absolutely no research, and I just come blindly out here. Hence, we sometimes miss things.
And I think there might be a lighthouse on a rock right there.
I'm not sure. I'll have to go home and actually Google things and figure it out after the fact. I mean, yes, it would probably make for a way more compelling video if I could tell you beforehand, hey, look, this is a beautiful thing. This is when it was established. This is what it is. But that would take effort. And have you seen my videos? Does it look like I put an ounce of effort into anything in my life anymore? I mean, again, I'm middle-aged. I'm just waiting for the sweet, silent abyss to come for me. That's all it is now for me. It's a waiting game. It's not a, oh, hey, let's embrace life and let's find out what's going on out there. No, it's am I going to die today? Am I going to die tomorrow? When am I going to die because damn, my feet hurt? But in the meantime, before I die,
we've got some cool ocean views. It's the Oregon coast, more Oregon coast down there, and there may be a lighthouse on a rock right there.
check this out. Oregon Film Rail, Point Break, 1991. Indian Beach student for Bells Beach, Australia, in the stormy finale at Point Break. And did you know, Twilight characters Jacob and Bella walked along the sands at Indian Beach to their special driftwood tree. Great. 2 crappy movies that I've never seen and that I would rather be tortured to death than have to sit through. Yeah, this bodes well for Indian Beach. Really worth the 10-mile round trip just to see that. Well, I managed to make it down to, well, the end of the All Trails map that I was using, and to something called
Indian Beach. So, some of the sites that we saw high up, we are now seeing at
Indian Beach, I don't know, sea level, I don't know what it's called, Indian Beach level.
And yeah, we got the ocean in front of us.
I mean, literally, we are at the edge of the North American continent. And given our current leadership here on the North American continent, at least specifically in America,
I kind of want to just keep walking. I mean, I'm pretty sure the octopus and the squid and whatever the hell else, the kraken and the sea dragons,
they got to be better than Trump. I mean,
seaweed is smarter than Trump.
But alas, I don't really want to walk into the water today, but I think we have reached the end of our hike. And unfortunately,
There's people there. There's people over there.
but nobody can hear me because the ocean, well, frankly, nature is rude.
The ocean is loud as hell. There's water over there making noises. The waves.
The seagulls are going and so yeah, nobody. I mean, I guess they could see me making the video, but nobody's paying any attention. So I'm going to say that this is going to be our turnaround point. I was going to do the 14 miler, but that would be another 2 miles up, and I don't know. Once you've seen
Water.
I mean, is there anything else to look at? I mean, yes, it's beautiful, but
There's rocks in it and it's wet.
that's going to be a variation on the theme if I keep going. And it's like almost 3:30 in the afternoon, and I'm slow as hell, and I want to get done before dark.
So Indian Beach is going to be our turnaround point. As we look at the spectacular waves coming in, we look at the water on the rocks and the sand.
And we see all the other people around us.
Oh, like seriously.
Wouldn't it be so much better if the extinction level event had already happened and it was just me on the beach with like
The waves and the rocks and the sand.
and possibly the broken Statue of Liberty and maybe some apes on horseback.
All I've got is humans to the left of me, humans to the right of me.
And here I am, ranting in the middle with you. Well, everything seems to have come full circle, because when I was on my way to Indian Beach, the fog was rolling in, and when I got there it started to burn away and everything was nice and comfortable and clear and not spooky as hell at all. But guess what?
I've been out here for so long, the fog has returned.
And so have the giant insects and the giant monsters and all the Stephen King jokes. I mean, there's really no other jokes that I can make about mist. I mean, what's funny about mist? It's kind of wet, it's moist, it's white, it's thick, you can't see through it. Other than, hey, there's scary things in it and Stephen King wrote about it, I have nothing. I guess I'm just not creative enough, but
Yeah, so there's probably giant bugs in the mist, and Stephen King wrote about those in one of his books. So let's be terrified.
But really, I'm just tired. I just want to get back to my car. I want to get into my car. And I want to get the hell off the Oregon coast. But until then,
The mist is coming in.
yay. Oh, joy, joy. It's also raining. Wonderful. But hey, at least
There's some views here. I mean, I get the beach, and wall of fog, and the beach, and more fog,
and it's cold, so let's go. So, unfortunately, I think I broke all trails in all the ways that actually matter to me, since I no longer have the ability to know how many more miles I have left in this hike. However, I am starting to get back to stuff that I saw at the beginning of the hike, and I know that I started the video about 1.5 miles in. So, I'm gonna guess I have under 2 miles left. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I don't know. I don't care because I'm tired and I just want to get back to my car. Now is the time for us to do our trail ratings, since I'm
once again meandering through the foggy, spooky, scary, possible Bigfoot infested woods.
I think it's a good time for trail ratings. So we rate our trails on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst possible scenario for an introvert, and that's Disneyland on the 4th of July. And that is a day in which magic, Disney magic, and reality have completely blown apart. Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Goofy, Donald, and probably Pluto. We'll give Pluto rabies for this one and say that he's attacking the tourists. But all the rest of the characters are now sentient and they've come alive and they're bloodthirsty and they hate tourists. So that means there's explosions, there's screaming, there's children yelling at their parents, there's parents yelling at their children, and there's mascots going. Oh yeah, and hot dogs are $50, popcorn is $175, and churros are what the hell? And that is what I would call introvert hell. And thus, that's a 1 on our scale. On the flip side of the spectrum is a 10, and that is just you alone in the middle of Antarctica with no human beings around, but you are surrounded by an army of government-created, genetically modified, human-eating and human soul-destroying. Let's throw that in. I mean, why not? I've said this thing so many times, I'm just really, really bored, and I'm just trying to go as crazy as possible with it now. Human-eating, soul-destroying, sentient penguins. Huge flocks. So many flocks of penguins that they've become a horde of penguins. Penguins, as far as the eye can see, they despise Homo sapiens sapiens. But they don't mind you because they've imprinted on you, and to them, you are their leader. So that means it's just you and the penguins, and silence and solitude and happiness and joy and all those good things that people are always destroying and smashing and zapping from you. And that is a 10 on the introversion scale. And that is what I would call introvert nirvana or introvert heaven. They're kind of interchangeable in my ridiculous scenario. So on that absolutely pathetic and dumb scale that I keep making dumber for some reason, I'm gonna put this particular trail at about a 4. Unfortunately, when I first started, there were a bunch of people. I saw two people at the parking lot at the trailhead, and then I saw more and more people as I kept going. Then that meander that I literally just got done with in the woods, that kind of made the people go away just a little bit, but there were still quite a few that I was seeing. And then we hit the broken trail bathroom and the foggy viewpoint that pointed to something beautiful and majestic that was in the fog and I couldn't see. And then we got to Indian Beach, and oh. So a 4 is about as good as this hike is gonna get. This is a Sunday, this is a weekend, etc., etc. So it might be better during the weekday, and it might be better, you know, in the middle of January when it's snowing and raining and there's absolutely nobody outside of their house at all. But today I'm gonna give it a 4. So that takes us over to my misery index, and that's a measure of my misery, and it's on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is complete fiction because there would be no misery whatsoever. And look at me. I'm genetically modified for the government just to experience misery. My misery means that other people in this universe can be happy. The more miserable I am, the more balanced the equation, and you are welcome. And that goes all the way up to a 5, in which that's the worst possible misery one can experience. But of course, I'm so miserable, I break that scale all the time. And so when I was encountering people today, we were at 5 gazillion, billion, trillion, quadrillion. I'm literally just making words up once again, but on average, however, well, I've actually spent quite a bit of this hike alone. So I've pretty much been at a 2.5 or a 3 most of the hike. So there was the horrible, awful Indian Beach spike, and we will never talk about that again. But the rest of it's been pretty calm. I'm gonna say I'm at about a 3 on the misery index. The trail is rated about a 4. That's where we are on the scales today.
This is where I currently am on the planet Earth.
And I think all is well. I'm ready to get back to my car. I'm ready to get into my car. And I'm ready to go home. All right, so I am literally about a quarter of a mile, because I can actually see some of the houses that are on the other side of the trailhead, the parking lot where I parked. So I am just about to the trailhead, which means I am just about to my car, and I'm just about to my ability to get the hell out of here. So that means for us, it's time to bid our adieus. But before we do that, let's do a quick recap. Today, I hiked in Ecola State Park on the Lewis and Clark Discovery Trail, and I went all the way to Indian Beach, saw that they'd filmed a bunch of crappy movies there, saw that there were people there, and automatically turned around and ran screaming up the trail. But along the way, I also got to see some beautiful ocean views. I got to see some wildflowers. I got to see some dense forests. I got to see some beautiful fog. And overall, things were very lovely, and things were as introverted as they can be here on the Oregon coast. But alas, it is time for me to say goodbye, and it is also time for me to say, stay introverted, everyone. And of course, I'll see you on the next adventure.